Hi, welcome back to English 111 Online. I hope you enjoyed your summer break, but you got to put your jet packs on and get ready to run because we have 2 weeks to finish two major projects. We're going to do project 3 first. So first of all, this week, view the video lecture, which you're doing right now. View the short global goals video, which is listed right here. This would be something that you would want to watch so that you understand what the United Nations Global Goals are all about. So do that first. Then you're going to want to look at this assignment sheet for Core Project 3. And I'm going to click on that for just a minute and let's look at it together. This is what we're writing now is a persuasive problem solution research essay. So you're going to have to do some, excuse me, I need to yawn on you. You're going to have to do some research and get some sources together to back up what you're going to put into this essay. So the length of the paper should be 5+ pages. Don't worry about the number of pages you have. Just worry about putting in all the information that I ask you to put in. So there are 16 global goals that you're going to be able to look at and choose one of them as the goal that you'll be writing about in this essay. I have a link right here, and you will go to that link. This is the first thing you need to do to start reading about the goals and deciding what your goal is going to be. So, excuse me for, I don't even know why I'm yawning. It's the middle of the afternoon. So discover the goals, go down here, and you'll see there's 17. The last goal, number 17, right here, partnerships, strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. I don't want you to write about that one, and I think you'll find that pretty boring anyway. But I want you to choose one of the 16. So maybe you're interested in Goal 16, promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Maybe you're interested in that one. If you are, then you click on more info and you go to that. Just as an example, I'm going to go ahead and click on that so you'll see what happens when you click on, read more information about it. Okay, so this is Goal 16. Scroll down until you find this. Here's the overview, which we're on right here. Here are targets and indicators, and here's progress and info. I suggest you read all of those for whichever goal you're going to write about. You don't need to know about the other goals. Just pick one and do your research on that one. This is your first resource right here. You must start here. You must use information from this in your paper, and you must list this on a works cited page, and you'll do that same thing that we did for the last essay. You're going to set it all up in perfect MLA format, and then the assignment for this week is going to be twofold. A journal that's going to ask you about some information from this. So let's go back to the overview at first. These are some infographics that you can use. You might find information here that you want to use it in your paper, and this is perfectly a good place to get your information from. It's perfectly fine to get your information from infographics. and then look at these targets and indicators. You're going to be asked for your journal to select 3 solutions for your problem. And so if we're going to be working with Goal 16, promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. The problem that this addresses is that there are not peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. There is not any access to justice for all, and there are not nations are not building effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. And you will find in doing your research that this is a real problem. Once you look at the information on the overview, those infographics, then come here and look at this. Here are some targets along the way. The United Nations have called these targets. These are things that need to be done in order to meet the goal that they have set. So, for instance, this first one, significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. How are people going about doing that? Well, I'm suggesting that you use the actual language from the goals page to help you do your research. When you're looking for something, enter this language into your NC Live or into your global, into your Google search, however you're going to go about your research, and find something that would relate to reducing all forms of violence and related death rates. See what you can find. If that is not something you want to do, there are 16, excuse me, how many there are. There are 10 targets here, and then there's this is broken down into 2, part 1 and part 2. So I'm just saying the language in these targets will help you. You'll have to put that in your journal, but it will also help you in doing your research, finding something specific that you're looking for instead of just something that might mention the word or something. You want to get real specific with your research. Okay, so that's your first source, and it's a really important source, and I do want you to start there. You're going to, after you choose which global goal you're going to do, one of the first 16, a lot of people like the goals that are earlier in the list, like no hunger, clean water, healthy people. Whatever the goal is, just pick one that you want to carry out to the end. So I'm asking you to commit to it. Commit to one goal so you won't get behind. And you're going to have to go really fast this week. It's going to take some time. You're not going to be able, though, with us just having 2 weeks left, to get behind on this and ask me for an extension, because I can't. Our final grades are due. Let me look at my calendar here. The last, I think they may be due the 28th. Let me see. Last day of summer sessions, grades are due, at 9 o'clock on Thursday the 28th. So we don't have time to be messing around. And this essay, this research essay, needs to be turned in its final form by Sunday, July 24th. That's when it's due. Then we'll have an assignment that will be due by this last date of the summer session there on the 27th. That'll be Core Project 2. And then it's over. Grades are due. So I can't give you an extension on this. You're just going to have to buckle down and get the research done. All right, this is going to help you with your research also. Find answers to these questions. First, what are the UN 17 global goals? Don't tell me each one of the goals. Don't list them. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I want to know what this group of goals is. How did the United Nations go about choosing these things, these goals? How long have they been in existence? I've written a sample introduction along with an outline to guide you through the essay that you're going to be writing. So look at that and see what I said about the 17 global goals, because your reader is not going to understand what this goal 4 is. What is that? You're going to have to explain to them. Well, it's part of the UN's 17 global goals, and when they were established, why they were established, and then you're going to narrow your introduction paragraph down to the particular goal that you're exploring. So that's what you define and explain your particular goal. Do not list all the goals. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Why is this goal important? Your background paragraph, which will be the next paragraph after your introduction, will ask you to talk about the problem. Why is it so important for us to meet the goal? And it has to do with the problem. What can you bring in to show what a big problem this really is? What are some facts and figures that are interesting about your goal? Find some facts that show the severity or the magnitude of the problem. That's going to be used in your background paragraph. What are the targets for your goal? You're going to mention that in the introduction. What are the 3 solutions? That's your introduction material. Why does it matter? What are some specific solutions that people and organizations are working on to, I'm just going to take that out right there, because that does not exist on this website anymore. It used to exist, but doesn't now. What are some specific solutions that people and organizations are working on to meet the goal? Where is this successfully being done? You're going to talk about these 3 solutions and who's doing it. That's all you have to do is find them. Show people reading your essay that yes, there are some solutions and they do work. And that's what you're going to find for your body paragraphs here. What are some specific solutions that people and organizations are working on to meet the goal? You're going to research and find those people, organizations that are working on your goal, and you're going to include those in your body paragraphs. We're going to do a refutation paragraph. In other words, looking at what some people will say is, no, we can't do it. It's too expensive. Governments will never agree to that. You know how people are always going to be negative about it. Well, you're going to say what the people who are negative about either one of the solutions or about the either about one of the solutions or about the goal in general. But whatever you choose for that to put in your body paragraphs can be part of the refutation of it. So in other words, I'll talk more about refutation next week. How can those obstacles be overcome? That'll go in your refutation paragraph. And then I'm going to show you also how to write your conclusion paragraph. What I want you to do for this week is to follow the directions and get your, let me go back to the middle page, follow the directions and just get that information for your introduction and for your thesis statement. So you'll have the information for that journal, and then you'll be able to use it to create your introduction paragraph. Just something to talk about when you're researching, when you're trying to find sources that answer these questions and give you the information that you need to put in your paper. You want to sort of evaluate one. You can write it down. We'll be using this evaluative rubric and the language in this when we do Core Project 2. So I'm going to start you on 3, then we're going to go back after we finish 3 and do 2, which is the annotated bibliography, because that's going to be really easy to do once you've done your research paper. So you want to be sure that it is the correct substance. It's not something written for children. It's written for academics or others in the profession, or even for the general public, but not something that's children oriented. Currency, you want to make sure you get the most recent information that you possibly can. Authority, who is it that is writing this? By what authority are they giving you the information? You don't want something that's from somebody that has no expertise, no background in the topic at all. You want to get something where you know who the author is and what kind of relevant credentials. And it may not be a person, it could be an institution, or and that would be the same thing. You'd want somebody that would be responsible. You're going to, when we get to Core Project 2, you're going to have to answer by what authority. Relevance, important to your needs, those questions you need to answer. So don't go off on a trail putting in other information that you think is interesting. Just follow directions and get your introduction, your background paragraph, your 3-body paragraphs, your refutation, and your conclusion. And just stick to it. Things that you can find that are relevant as answers to the questions. Accuracy, how accurate is the source. And then the last one, bias. Why does this information exist? So these are the things that I'd like you to look at along the way. If you don't find sources that meet most of these requirements for a good source, then you'll need to look until you find something that is more relevant, accurate, unbiased, etc. Okay, so the scarab sheet is right there. Just make notes. Keep notes from that. Look at that scarab sheet when you're looking at your source and say, yeah, this meets all those requirements, so I'm just going to jot down some information and save that, because we'll come back to that when we do Core Project 2. Wikipedia is not a reliable source. Here is a statement from Wikipedia itself telling you why it is not a reliable source. So do not use anything from Wikipedia. Here are some sources that I found that would be helpful if I were writing this essay for Core Project 3. I found this one relating to no poverty, this no hunger, this Goal 3, health for everyone, education, gender equality, etc. These are just things that I found. You don't have to use those sources. I'm just saying that I was just buzzing around seeing how quickly I could find information to be used, and I found those sources. So they're there. You might want to take a look at them. I don't have one for every, all 16 of the goals, though. This is going to be helpful to you. This is my sample. See, I've got it set up in proper MLA format, title centered, and this is what needs to go in your introduction paragraph. I have put comments over on the side so you can scroll over and see, this is your attention getter, or this is my attention getter. This is how I'm narrowing the focus down to my specific goal. And this is where you can see this information about the United Nations, and you can feel free to use something similar to what I've put in here, because this is correct. And here is my in-text citation that shows that that this is the source that it came from. And then your thesis statement should come at the end, which is going to be, or your claim. Sometimes I call it the should statement because it's persuasive, so we want to use language that is persuasive. So here's what I came up with for Goal 5. To help eliminate these problems faced by girls worldwide, 3 sustainable solutions must be implemented. Ensure universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. Eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other types of exploitation, and eliminate all harmful practices such as child, early, and forced marriage and female genital mutilation. And there's my source that I got that from. So if you're writing about Goal 5, feel free to go to my Works Cited page and click on some of those. The background paragraph would be focus on the problem. You're going to bring in evidence that shows what a severe problem this is. So the goal is to promote gender equality. That means the problem is not having gender equality. So that's your background paragraph. Why is this such a messed up area of the world, so that the United Nations thinks we need to all come together and do that. I started my background paragraph here just so you could kind of see. You probably will have more information brought in than that, but I've got this statement highlighted here, end with a restatement of the solutions. So you've given your solutions up here in your introduction paragraph, but you also want to, when you get to the end of why the problem is so bad, you want to restate the solutions that you're going that you're going to talk about in your paper. I have just started. I didn't write this out because I didn't want to write a whole essay. I got to read your essays. But it has a topic sentence, and then I have found some where there's information that would be helpful for that particular problem. So what is the solution there? Body paragraph 2, another solution, topic sentence. Paragraph 3, the third solution, and there then you can read on about the opposition and refutation paragraph, and then the conclusion paragraph. I'm telling you exactly what needs to go in there, so please follow what I've given you. Please don't email me and say I don't understand what you want me to do. I'm telling you what I want you to do in really specific detail in this document. So just do it. Just follow it and do it. I'm not going to do the research for you. If you get totally stuck on something and just can't find something, then sure, ask me and I'll be glad to help you, but don't send me an email that just says I don't understand what I'm doing, because that doesn't help me and it doesn't help you, because I don't understand what you don't understand. See what I'm saying? So let's don't waste a lot of time trying to email back and forth on this. I've got such specific instructions. You ought to be able to do this. I also have put in a works cited page with all of my sources listed here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. 7, but you need to have at least 5. So I've given you your first one. You need to get 4 more that you're going to use to back up things in your essay. All right, so that is that will be helpful for you to look at that. This also is another maybe more developed information about how to write the essay. Here's what you need to have in your introduction. Here's what you need in your background paragraph, etc. So there are 2 documents. Some of it's repetitive, but I would go through both of them if I were you, so you'd really understand what it is you're researching for to find the answers to. The introduction paragraph, this is repetitive, but I want you to do that because I want you to not only do the journal for this week, but I also want you to do the introduction paragraph and the background paragraph too if you have time. If you could get, it's going to be easy to write the background paragraph once you discover what a severe problem it is, and then you just have to convince your reader that it is a severe problem by bringing in research that shows how severe the problem is. All right, so that's what we're doing this week. The journal is down here, and it says which global goal are you choosing. That's pretty easy. Just say goal 1, no hunger, or whatever goal 1 happens to be. So tell me the number and what the goal is. Then give a short summary of what the global issue is. The issue is the problem. So you want to give a short summary of what the global problem is and why the goal to make it better is important. That's your stuff you're going to put into your background paragraph. And that's what it says. You'll use this information, some of it in your introduction, some of it in your background paragraph. And you want to find at least 3 possible solutions that can help meet the goals. Look at the specific targets like I showed you a while ago, and then get 3 things that you want to pursue and research so that you can do your body paragraphs. I'm not going to have time to look at your rough drafts, so I'm just going to have you send your rough draft to Smart Thinking and get the feedback from Smart Thinking. I'm going to also give you the option, if you want to go to the English Studio so that you can get help if you don't like Smart Thinking or whatever and you have time to come to campus and go to the English Studio. But a lot of you I know don't have that kind of time where you can just come up to the school. So, get as much of this done to answer these questions. And then you're going to find that you have a lot of information to put into your introduction paragraph and your background paragraph too. The other thing for this week is the MLA document itself. And you're going to submit that right here on this link. And both of these are due before midnight on Sunday, July 17th. Next week, we're going to have the final turned in. Your rough draft, you're going to submit it to Smart Thinking and or come up to the campus and go to the English Studio, or you can even use the English Studio virtually. But I want you to get some kind of feedback on it before you turn in your final. And the final is going to be due the 24th, because we're right there at the end. And then you're going to have like 3 days to get Core Project 2, the annotated bibliography, but you're going to find that's going to be easy since you already have your sources and everything. So that's what we're doing this week. Please don't wait until Sunday night to start looking at this, because you're not going to have enough time to get this done. I'm going to send out an email to the whole class, giving them a heads up on that. And if, of course, if there's anything that you're stuck on or whatever, contact me and let me help you. However, make it specific what you need help with. It's really wasting a bunch of time, and we don't have any time to waste for this week. So if you just tell me you're confused, that doesn't tell me anything. All right, well, I will talk to you again next week, and we'll finish up this Core Project 3 essay. I find that it is better to go ahead and get it done, get it out of the way, instead of having to drag it out and postpone it and dread doing it, which is usually how it works in a 16-week course. But we've got these 8 weeks, and we're down to the nitty-gritty here. So last thing I wanted to say, I've also decided we don't have time for the midterm assessment. So I'm going to go back and refigure the grade book without that midterm assessment. We just don't have time to go through that. And it's writing another paragraph, and I'm just making an executive decision and saying we won't do that. But anyway, if you look at the grade book and see that the midterm is gone, then that will be reflected in your grade, in the way things are valued in the grade book. Let's put it that way. Okay, well, y'all have a great week. Hustle, do this work, get it done, and let's be able to move on quickly and finish up the course with great success. And I'll be grading your Core Project 1s this week. Give me time to do it. It took you some time to write them, so give me some time to get them graded. All right, y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.